Good evening, everyone. This is Atmospheric Alex, and welcome back to another severe weather outlook and discussion here. We are talking about the risk for severe weather over the next few days, especially as we roll into Friday, where damaging winds, large hail, and even a couple of strong tornadoes are going to be possible. So stay tuned if you want to know more about these risk areas. You can see that we don't have too much activity. We do have some thunderstorm activity, a severe thunderstorm down here near Mountain Home, Arkansas that has been ongoing, but nothing too crazy. Just got some thunderstorms up here near Paducah, Kentucky, and again, that severe thunderstorm watch all in those areas in between, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Now, as we take a current look at our alert map here, you can see we do have some active weather, not just across portions of, say, the Midwest and Ohio Valley, but we also have some winter weather advisories here across the Northeast. We are expecting winter weather system move in there later on. We have some red flag warnings here across your front range, as we could see some strong winds and low relative humidity values, and then some snow for the Rockies, some wind out, say in California, but all other areas seem pretty quiet. Some rain up here in Washington and Oregon, got a little bit of a system coming through, but nothing to really worry about. Now, of course, since it is still winter, we cannot quite move on to the severe weather discussion just yet before talking about the snow chances as we head into tomorrow night here across portions of the Northeast. Well, you can see as we head into tomorrow evening, freezing rain is going to be breaking out across portions of Massachusetts, and then some sleet and some snow. Look at it transition here as we head into tomorrow night. We're talking about heavy sleet occurring across some of these areas, say Boston, Massachusetts. Could definitely be talking about a lot of sleet. And to the north of that, some moderate to even some heavy snow is going to be expected. As we continue to roll the model on through, you can see a lot of snow falling in a pretty short amount of time, but pretty heavy in nature. Boston really getting in on that heavy snow there, and that continues for quite some time into Friday morning. And so we're going to go ahead and take a look at our snow totals. As we kind of take a look at things here, you can see we could be talking about maybe an overperforming event. The HRRR model seems pretty set in stone on there being 5 to 8 inches of snow across some of these areas. I do think those values are a little bit too high, but 3 to 5 inches, I mean, I really cannot rule that out. We're talking about a lot of heavy snow moving through some of these areas like Boston, Massachusetts here, maybe picking up upwards of 5 inches. We'll have to wait and see. As we move into our most important section of the video here when it comes to our severe weather chances, well, we're talking about a 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale for portions of Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, even into Illinois a little bit there as well. And this is definitely not going to be a tornado-driven risk. However, across portions of northern Arkansas, we could maybe see a tornado or two as we head into evening in the overnight hours. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Risk area seems a little bit uncertain. As we head into our wind risk here, talk about a 15% chance of wind, nothing too significant. Again, this is within 25 miles of a given point. And then our hail risk, not really talk about large hail, maybe just up to quarter size across some areas, but again, nothing too significant there. As we head into tomorrow's risk, we are going to be talking about a level 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale yet again here, but the risk is going to be a little bit different this time. Again, this is your new Storm Prediction Center's convective outlooks. Again, these just started releasing yesterday, and this is kind of a brand new format, which is why I want to show them off. Our tornado risk. So we're talking around a 5% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of a given point, and a SIG 1 risk. So a 1 out of 3 on our intensity scale, basically, is what you need to know in that hatched area. As we head into our wind risk, same sort of song and dance applies there. And with our hail risk, same exact thing as well. As we take a look as we head into day 3, this is where stuff could really begin to ramp up even more. An enhanced risk is going to be present across portions of some of those areas there. And talking around a SIG 1 risk as well for severe weather. This could be wind upwards and even over 75 miles an hour, hail maybe up to 2 inches in diameter, and maybe a strong tornado. Again, this is an all hazards risk that's on the table, and we're going to have to wait and see how it shakes up, but you can see definitely talking about a hatched risk here for a very large area as we head into day 3. Now, as we take a good look here at our models here from aguaceroweather.com, we are seeing it here. Our significant tornado parameter is going to be overlaid beneath our potential weather radar, what the radar could look like. As we head into, this afternoon into this evening, we're talking about a lot of thunderstorms popping up across, Oklahoma there, across Arkansas, and some of the other areas in between. We're talking about elevated tornado parameters going up here into portions of northwestern Kentucky, into portions of southern Illinois and southwestern Indiana. But whether or not we're going to have surface-based storms to really take advantage of this environment is a big question mark. You can see generally a lot of storms firing across Arkansas, some supercells as well. As we head to the overnight hours, lots of rain falling as well. We've got to have to note that training rainfall going on there. As we head into tomorrow, we're going to be talking about maybe a low-end, strong to severe weather risk here across portions of West Tennessee, Western Kentucky, kind of in these areas here. We're going to be watching kind of closely here for maybe some strong winds, small hail, and maybe even a brief spin up funnel tornado. Very, very weak though, if we see anything at all. For portions of, say, West Tennessee, look at those storms moving into tomorrow evening, maybe even a couple more rounds in that as well. We'll get to that in a minute. I know you all are looking at that really excited, but in just a minute, we'll go over that risk. But you can see these storms do continue. Looks like round after round after round is going to be possible. This is one model, though, and some of the other models do not show a similar situation, especially for West Tennessee, like I said. Now, as we head into Oklahoma, stuff is going to get very interesting as we head into tomorrow. Take a look at this. So this is, again, your significant tornado parameter overlaid with your future weather radar, what it could look like. And right off the bat, I want you to notice something. We have a very strong boundary that sets up right within these areas here. This is going to act as a lot of forcing to get storms up and going. A lot of supercells could form off of this boundary here. And as we kind of play through our timing here, boom, as we head into tomorrow evening, we have a big time onslaught of supercells here. Look at that. And again, another frame forward here. This is where we could be talking about, potentially strong tornadoes being involved. As your supercells cross over your boundary, there'll be a short amount of time where your boundary will kind of mess with your vorticity a little bit and could maybe increase your tornado threat for around 20 to 30 minutes, as these supercells ride over the boundary. After that, they're going to become a little more elevated in nature and promote a very large hail risk. We could potentially be talking about a SIG 2 out of 3 hail risk on their intensity scale. These storms continue. As we head into the overnight hours, these will once again become surface based, and we could see another round of maybe tornadic activity, maybe a strong tornado. As we're talking about our significant tornado parameters, upwards of a 6.5 being possible. So very significant parameters are going to be in place as we head into tomorrow evening. And these storms will continue. They'll cluster up kind of a lot more as we head into later tomorrow night, and your hail and wind risk will accelerate a bit. Definitely going to be talking about damaging winds along that line through Wichita and Emporia, Kansas there, and that continues on through. Now, quickly going into Friday here, what could it look like? We're talking about some pretty significant, again, tornado parameters being present. We're going to talk about a pretty good hot zone here across eastern and even central Oklahoma, and then just some other activity along the dry line up here, and something could even try and fire further off to the south. We're talking about maybe some semi-discrete supercells firing off near Tulsa, Oklahoma, Fort Smith, Arkansas, as we head into Friday evening, and maybe even some stuff down in Texas, some very large hail being possible, and a big-time wind risk here. And I'm going to go a little bit further north here. We're talking about it here. I'm going to circle a lot of areas: Kansas City, Missouri, Columbia and Jefferson City, Missouri, Davenport, Iowa, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Rockford, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Joliet there, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin. Considerably damaging winds are going to be possible as we head into Friday night, potentially upwards of 65 to even 75 miles an hour. Look at this line pushing on through. Very significant in nature. Could be talking about some damaging winds lasting into Indiana, even Ohio, as we go into Saturday morning. We'll have to wait and see. As we take more of a deep dive with our parameters here, we're talking around 2,000 to 3,000 units of storm energy here being present across Texas. And that's kind of why you're going to get your storms going here. And then across some other areas too, into tonight, we'll see some storms kind of firing off. But as we go into tomorrow, we're talking around 1,000 to 2,000 joules of CAPE here, basically storm energy across portions of Arkansas, West Tennessee. Why I say you could be talking about a strong to severe storm risk. So, I'm going to just kind of say this, and I do believe there is a chance of this, that we could be talking about maybe a marginal risk of severe weather across some of these areas here going into tomorrow afternoon, into tomorrow evening. We'll kind of keep an eye on that, right? But it's going to be kind of summer-like out there. It's going to be kind of, warm, humid with some storm chances. And as we kind of go into some of our other parameters here, as we go into tonight, we're going to be talking about quite a bit of helicity up here across portions of, say, your target area. Yeah, definitely could be seeing a tornado risk. This isn't really outlined by the Storm Prediction Center as much, but if we do have a cell that forms up here and goes surface base, a tornado risk will definitely be present, saying going into the Evansville, Indiana area going into tonight. Some of the other areas could feature some tornadic activity as well. Arkansas, anywhere in your green colors is supportive of a tornado. Anywhere in kind of your gold colors is supportive of something maybe a bit more, but that's not in the forecast at the moment. And then across portions of West Tennessee, really not talking about a tornado risk. As we head over here, I guess we're going to have to kind of keep an eye on that in your blue and green colors. That's why I say we could maybe see at best a funnel cloud across West Tennessee tomorrow. And if you slap all your parameters together, you're going to get your supercell composite, and it looks very elevated here. Look at that. I really do believe this could be a sleeper event in portions of southern Illinois, southern Indiana, northern Kentucky as we head into tonight. We really need to watch this area closely, because if we do see discrete supercells fire, our tornado risk will definitely be increasing. So, hasn't really been said much, but I'm going to say it myself. Definitely need to watch in that area. Other areas could definitely be talking about severe weather into tonight, and some leftover stuff into tomorrow morning, maybe some strong storms entering West Tennessee. As we go into tomorrow afternoon, really not much in the way of parameters across our area, but still some green, some light green colors. Stuff could potentially happen in terms of our strong storms. Now, as we take a zoomed in look into Oklahoma here as we go into tomorrow, and you'll hear my voice all of a sudden getting a little bit more energetic. I love talking about plains severe weather risks because, I'll be honest, just kind of the nature of them is so fascinating to me. You can see a very sharp boundary that begins to set up here as we head into tomorrow evening between quite a bit of storm energy and no storm energy at all. And basically, this hatched area here that you kind of see overlaying your storm energy is your warm air aloft, your warm and dry air aloft. So you're going to have a lot of supercells that fire in this environment that immediately could go discrete due to all of your capping, all of your warm and dry air aloft, keeping your cells kind of separated from each other, if you will. And so you could see they go very elevated, after they cross over the boundary. Essentially here is your boundary right here, and what's going to happen is you're going to have your storms kind of fire like this at your surface. They're going to approach your boundary, kind of hit it and do that, but then kind of go back down like that later on as we hit our higher areas of storm energy later in the night. You can see we don't have much capping, but just enough to keep things fairly discreet, and we could be talking about strong tornadoes, say, across northwest Oklahoma, Woodward, Oklahoma. You need to keep a close eye on this. In terms of our 3 CAPE, basically our surface, absolute surface storm energy, and we're going to have quite a lot of it, and this is kind of abnormal for your plains, so you're absolutely going to have sustaining supercells if you have a lot of surface-based, if you have a lot of a ground-based CAPE here across some of these areas. Values of 100 to 150 is really good for the Great Plains. You don't typically see that, and that continues on through. Cells will continue to maintain. Our 0 to 1 relative storm helicity here, you can see along that boundary, when storms fire, we're talking around into your green and your gold colors. Anywhere in your gold colors is a strong tornado risk. Anywhere in your red colors, we could potentially even be talking about an intense tornado risk. That is not a forecast, but it's definitely a possibility the more we go into time here. Talking about helicity upwards of 400 to 450, that is certainly sufficient enough for strong, maybe intense tornadic activity. And that continues. And look at almost 600 units there. Thankfully, these will be elevated by that point. But as we go later on to the night, they'll reroute themselves, and we could be talking upwards of 700, maybe even closing in on higher values. We have to watch that closely. Would not rule out an intense tornado tomorrow evening, even though the SPC isn't explicitly showing it. Supercell composite parameters, that boundary is very well defined here, and that really kickstarts activity. You can see our values really drop off after our boundary. You can see values upwards of a 6, but they drop off to a 1 to a 2. As we head into the night, though, increase back up to a 10. So it's going to be surface base, elevated, then surface base again. That's at least what I'm expecting off of my analysis. And my goodness, we are talking about some pink colors embedded right there. So a lot of wind shear, a lot of storm energy, and definitely quite a bit of dry air aloft to really keep these cells intense. And that will continue. All right, and with that being said, thank you all so much for tuning into today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I apologize, it seemed like it was a bit rushed and a bit of a hodgepodge. My webcam was not working earlier. It took me 30 minutes to figure out what the problem was, and I still don't know what the problem is. So I'm hoping that can stop happening so I can get these videos out a little bit earlier in time. It's so annoying. Technical difficulties, my gosh. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to smash that like button, subscribe to my old corner of the weather community, share this video with friends, family, and social media, and even leave a comment in the section below if you enjoyed it. As always, turn on your emergency alerts, turn on your weather radios, and have a wonderful night, everyone. Stay very weather aware.